Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Thank you for your love and for your support. I really appreciate each and every one of you that have subscribed to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. If you are new to the channel, you are highly and very welcome. If you have not subscribed, please hit on the subscribe button and then also hit on the bell to get an update whenever I upload a new video. Okay guys, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew this draping kaftan. So you can see the picture up here. A subscriber actually sent it to me, so I decided to, since I have the materials available, I decided to just do a tutorial around it. Okay, so if you want to register for our online classes, so you can see my number scrolling through the screen, you can send me a message on WhatsApp and then I'll give you the details of the classes that we have available. Presently we have the corset class for those of you that want to learn how to cut and sew a perfect corset, and then we have the beginners class, which is like the foundation class, and then we have an intermediate class for people that can sew already, that want to climb up a little bit, and then we have the ready to wear class for those of you that want to cut and that want to sew dresses and sell online. That business actually sells a lot, so you can register for that class, the ready to wear class. And then we have an advanced class for people that can sew and then they still want to upgrade. And then we have a trouser and a jumpsuit class. So these are some of the classes that we have available. Just send me a message on WhatsApp and then we are good to go. Okay, so now the fabric that I'm going to be making use of today is like a silk fabric. It's a soft fabric. When you want to make this kind of drape kaftan, I would advise for you to make use of a soft fabric. It actually gives it better effect. So I'm going to be making use of 2 yards of fabric. But for this kind of kaftan, if you the truth of the matter is that the fuller your fabric, that's the more your fabric, the more the drape. So if you want to make this, you can make with 4 yards, you can make with 5 yards, just 2 yards. 2 yards is not going to be too much. 3 yards, 4 yards, even 5 yards. 5 yards is going to be massive drape. So these are the, okay, let's just start. Okay guys, so you can see my fabric is folded into 2, so I'm going to fold it into 4 now. So it depends on how long this part is. So that is what will determine the fullness of your drape. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll measure what I have now. So I have about 17 inches, which is okay. So you can make it more, you can make it as much as 30 to 32 inches, depends on what you want. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to impute our measurement. So the first thing I'm going to do now, mark out the neckline. The back and the front neckline, they are together, they are the same neckline. So I'll just make sure. Okay, so I'm making use of the entire length of my fabric. My fabric is by 60 inches, so which is just okay by me. So I'll come to this point like this. I'll measure let's measure out the shoulder measurement first. So this is the shoulder measurement, which is 14. I'll use 7 inches. I'll just indicate that like that, and then I'll come to this point. I'll mark the neckline point. So the neckline, I'm making use of 3 inches. It is a V neckline, and then from this point I'm just going to, so if you notice, you see that I left about half of an inch. That's what I'll use to stitch the shoulder together. So from this point I'm going to mark the neckline. So for the neckline I'm going to use 7.5 inches. So after stitching it will go to about 8 inches, which is okay. So from this point I'm just going to come like this. I'll mark it, just create a V neckline like this. It is a simple, it's so simple. So from this point now, from this my shoulder point, I'm going to reduce the shoulder. Since it is a sleeveless, I'll reduce it with about half of an inch. So I'll just take half of an inch forward. So in the notch here, you can just decide to reduce half inch from your shoulder. So instead of 7 inches, you use 6.5. So it depends on your shoulder. You know your shoulder usually divide into 2. So from this point, I'm going to create a sleeve opening. So the sleeve opening that I'm going to create is going to be about 4 inches. So it depends on how big your hands are. So you can do 5 inches, you can do 6 inches. It depends. So for this, I'm going to do 4 inches sleeve opening. So I'll mark it. So from this point like this, I'm going to be cutting off this point like this. So I just cut this point off. And then from this point to this point, I'm going to stitch this like this. So this place is going to be joined together, this is going to be open. So let's cut so you understand. So you cut out your sleeve like this, sleeve open like this, and then you're going to leave this part. If you notice, I'm actually not really sloping anything on this kaftan, so you can see it. So from there, in order to get our bubu properly, so we're going to continue now. So the measurements that we're going to measure now before we reduce, because the down part of the bubu, we're going to actually reduce it, bubu or kaftan, we'll reduce it to get that shape. So from this point, I'm going to mark my below my knee measurement. So for that part is going to be about 32 inches. So I'm just going to mark my 32 inches here. So you can actually measure yourself or measure your client to know the actual point. Okay, so I'm going to be making use of 32. So that's my 32. It's usually between 32 and 35. So that's usually the measurement. So from this point now, so I'm just going to put up a little bit so you can see. So from this point now, I'm going to reduce this part. So for this, the width that I'm making use of, like I told you, I said I'm making use of width 17. So I'm making use, so you 17 divide by, not divide now, sorry. I said that's 34. That's the width of my kaftan is going to be 34. So please note. Okay, so the knee measurement that I'm making use of, like I said, is 32. So this is my 32. So like I said, you can use between 32 and 35. So that's why I'm just marking this point here. So for the width measurement that I'm going to be making use of, for since it is a bubu, I'm going to double my bust measurement. And so my bust measurement is actually 36. So when you divide 36, normally when you divide 36 into, when you want to measure, you use 9 inches. So for this now, I'm making use of about 18 inches. So my fabric is not up to 18 inches. So I have about 17 inches. So I'm going to just leave it that way. You can see it's 17 instead of 18. So please, I want you to note. So if you want to make a bubu, you can, most times you can just, most people they used to ask what measurement. You can decide to double your bust measurement, so that actually gives it fullness. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, so from this point now, I'm going to come to the down part of my bubu. So for the down part, you're going to determine how wide you want the down part to be. So for the down part, I'm going to reduce it because I'm still going to open it up. So I'm going to reduce it to about 11 inches. So this is 11 inches. Note, it is divided into 4. So from this 11 inches now, I'm just going to mark to the end of my, I'm just going to create like a V slope. So that's what gives it that defined shape like this. So I'm just going to mark it to that point like that. And then I'm going to shape it that way. So I hope you understand. So I'll go ahead, I'll cut now. Let me make sure that the camera captured everything. So I noticed that the camera actually did not capture that part. So what I did on this down part, I came in, I measured 11 inches from this down part. I measured 11 inches. So this is the 11 inches. So from the 11 inches, I just poked it into the below the knee measurement. So I hope you got it now. So I'm glad that I did not cut without checking the camera. So you can see I've cut that out. So this is what actually gives it that shape. So from this point, we'll cut out the neckline now. So you can see what I've done. So this part, I'm just going to go ahead and open it up. So I'll spread it on the table now for you to see. So before I spread on the table, I'm going to open the front part of my dress. So this part that has stain, I'm not going to use it for the front. So I'll use the other part. I'm just going to go ahead and open it like so. You can see the shape already. You can see the shape. It is looking so really beautiful. So I'll take the center part. I'll just take any part from the center and then measure. Depends on how much slit you want to add to it. So mine, I'm going to do about 15 inches. Is okay. So I'll open it up and then just give it a slit. Just cut it from this point and then fold it. So the next thing now, I'm going to take it over to our machine to stitch. So I'll show you how we're going to stitch this. It is a very simple process. So first of all, you go ahead, you turn out the neckline. Depends on what you want to use. If you are using a facing or you are just going to use it. So I'm going to take it back to my machine now, and then for the neckline, for the stitching part, for the neckline, so you turn out the neckline however you want to turn it, and then for this armhole part, you turn your armhole or you turn it, and then these parts that are straight, you stitch from here to here, and then you stitch it down, and then you join the shoulder part. This is your shoulder. You stitch this shoulder part close, and then you stitch this extra part close, and then you stitch it down to the hem like that. So that's just what I'm going to go and do, and then I'll bring it back and show you. It is a very simple dress. Okay guys, so at the end of the day, so you can see how a drape kaftan or a drape bubu looks like. So you see it came out really beautiful. So like I was saying earlier on, if you are using about from 3 yards of fabric, your drape, they are going to even fall more than this, 3 yards, 4 yards, even 5 yards. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please do not hesitate to hit on the like button, and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. God bless you. Ciao.